Nice to meet you,
Can you hear me
Graciela.
now?
Yes, I
Hi,
can
nice
hear
to meet
you.
you, Dale.
Yeah, it's so great of you to take some time out of this trading session to be with us. And you happen to have a friend in here that's, one of our stalwarts here in LAR, Ricardo Dinger. So how do you guys
Yeah.
know? Yeah, how do you guys know each
Okay.
other? Rick's from Argentina, and he said you're from Costa Rica. And there's a lot of rhymes. Your nickname, Tika Fonseca from Costa Rica. Uh,
Yes, exactly. Tika is like because we use a lot of abbreviations at the end of our words. We say instead of saying um, pequeño, which is small, we say pequeñitico, which is like
oh,
very
okay.
very small. So they call us ticos, people from Costa Rica. And I met Ricardo through your trading room a couple
Oh,
of
okay.
years ago, and that's one
Wow.
of your greatest contributions to myself to have such great friends, trading colleagues
Okay.
like Ricardo. He's a great trader, yes.
Yeah. So, I really believe when I was younger and I had a huge ego, Tika, I used to only want to know what other people were doing so I could take the other side, the other side of their trades, so I could
Mhm.
fade them. But after being humbled by the market several times in my career, I've really learned the value of collaboration and
Yes.
respecting others' work and being able to learn from others, and therefore the concept of LAR, a mastermind approach to trading for people. And that's great to hear that something I didn't even know about. Good seed was planted, and you and Rick have a relationship and share ideas outside of LAR. I'm sure there's plenty of that going on, but I'd like to get back to you. And I read your brief bio. You started trading in 2006. So why don't we step into a time machine and
Okay.
take us back to the beginning of your journey and who was responsible for you getting involved in trading FX or any other instruments, and what was that experience like for you early on?
Okay, great. Thank you. And okay, I started in 2006, no, six, and it was my husband that got me into it. What happened is that we had to leave the country. We moved to El Salvador because of a job that he had over there.
Okay.
And I was supposed to just be pretty and go to the gym and do the tea and coffee stuff. And I did that for a couple of months, and then I got bored because I didn't have like a job. I couldn't work. So
Okay.
he was interested in the stock market for a while, and he saw that I had the time to start studying. So that's what I did. We purchased a Forex course back then, and I guess it wasn't the best one because I guess the tools that I got from that didn't really make me profitable, but at least what it did is it made me curious about it. So
Okay.
what
What
I
was the
did, I
name of that?
mhm,
What was the name of that course you took?
mm, MTI, Market
Okay,
Traders
MPI.
Institute. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot.
It,
That's a good point. There's so much education out there that it's really hit or miss at the beginning. Because at the
yeah,
beginning you really don't know what to look for. And
yeah.
but we all have to start somewhere, and that exposed you to the markets. And did you go live right away, or did you trade on a demo?
I
How did you
did.
approach it? You
Yes,
went
I
live right
did.
away.
I went live right away. I get a lot. I guess a lot of these courses, what they do is they get rebates when you open the account, so they are kind of pushy about it that you open the account. So I
Okay.
didn't break it. I've never broken an account because I'm very conservative with the position size. But
Okay.
I was a little frustrated at first, and I guess I went through all the phases that we traders go through, wanted to give up and frustration and not
Yes.
depression, but I mean, I just didn't want to take any more losses, so I stopped and I started researching a lot of mostly like everybody, indicators and strategies and more indicators and more strategies, and I did that for a couple of months, for a couple of years.
Okay.
So I then
Where was
decided
the
to go back.
where and what was the turning point in your trading then, Tika? For
Well,
you go ahead.
well, then I realized after 2 years of looking at the strategies, mostly based on indicators, that that was not the way for me. And then I don't know, something told me to go back to the core of it, to understand why price was moving and to where and how and all of that. So I just took all my indicators out and started just, I tried with different charts, Heikin-Ashi, Renko charts, R's, everything. But I stuck to the candles. That's what I like the most. I took Steve Deason's course, and that really helped me. I liked it a lot. So
Okay.
I pretty much try to stay on the basics, understand the market flow, market structure, geometrical patterns, very few indicators, and just try to understand that up and down. And
Right. Price action is king, so if you can share your
yeah,
screen, you go up to the upper left-hand corner with the green box and the arrow, and then you select the desktop that you want to share, and then a picture speaks 1,000 words. We could see how you decided to simplify your approach. So you see that green box up there in left-hand corner with an arrow in it? There
is
we
that it?
go. Okay. So we see your charts right now. We're looking at the S&Ps, and I see
Right,
what it looks like. You have some moving averages. You have a speed line,
right.
but pretty much you trade naked, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, I like it like
Okay.
this. Yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah,
I
pretty
just want
much.
to give you one. I want to give you one warning. Do you know the number one rule for people that trade for naked trading?
No.
Keep the shades drawn. Okay.
Well, they're wide open right now, and I have a huge window in front of me.
I set you up for that one, Tika. So okay. So so we have to have fun too. So we're
Great.
looking at the S&Ps, and it was my bane a few years ago. And the ironic part of it is I was there for a good part of the break early on, and the year and last year when we had the flash crash in August. But right now I'm not short this market. I almost find myself cheering for a rally. I know a lot of people are looking for fib retracements. We got to 38%, almost halfway back. Tell us what you're seeing now on the S&Ps.
Okay. First of all, what do I have on my charts? I use just candles and a few moving average. I use exponential 21, 55, 100, and 200, and also the simple 200. I usually use them for bounces. What I try to do, I follow the trend, and whenever I see a retrace, for example, on the SPX, this is a retrace to me to a fib level, 50% plus moving average holding it. Then I'm looking for, I'm more on the short side on the SPX.
Okay.
So I'm just looking for a move short again to the 1800 area.
Okay, so do you look for confluence fibs with your moving averages, and maybe you could tell us how you selected the moving averages that you selected. Was it arbitrary, or was there research in the moving averages that you decided to use? And do you also use them for crosses when they all cross? Is that a message to you?
Well, no, the crosses I don't really use because they cross very late. But the numbers that I use is because seeing back in time, I see that they are respected very often. For some currencies, I do switch them a little bit. Like, for example, instead of using a 55, I use a 60, or instead of a 21, I use a 25. It depends on the currency. I switch them a little bit, but I pretty much stick to these ones.
Okay.
And for I use multi-time frame analysis. I use for my entries, I use the 4-hour charts, but I look at the direction or the trend of the weekly and the daily. So for example, in here on the XPEX, I see a possible move down. Then I switch down to a 4-hour chart, and that's where I'm taking my positions, my entries. And that's where I manage my trades also on the 4-hour
Okay.
chart. Sometimes,
Okay. So
sometimes even lower.
okay. So your entries are based upon a telescopic view, weekly, daily, and then 4 hour, and then you manage them from 4 hour charts, because if you looked at things like 30 minutes or 15 minutes, I know for me, I would take myself out of trades. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but managing a trade from a longer time frame is advantageous for me because I'm not shaken out by the jiggles. Is that kind of the
Exactly.
way you look at it?
Exactly. And I don't like to spend tons of time in front of my computer. Like, for example, I do most of my analysis around this time between 8 and 10 a.m. my time. And
Okay.
then I just monitor every 4 hours. But my entries are based on like support and resistance patterns, the moving averages. So I pretty much mark those areas and I set alarms to send me a message when price gets there in case that there's an entry and I'm not on the computer, because it's tiring to be at the computer so much. And also, I'm a woman. I tend to be more relaxed. My personality, I'm also like, I try to be relaxed, so I don't want to be like scalping, or if I'm on a trade, I want to get out at least 75 pips, so I don't need to be in the computer a lot. So that's
Yeah,
why I
and
take the 4 hour.
also you want to live. I bet early in your career you spent eight,
Yeah.
10 hours in front of your screen
Oh
at
yeah.
one. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
so
you have to. Mhm.
yeah, because you can't learn experience. It only comes with the passing of time, and in our business, that would be screen time. But I totally agree with you that a lot of people stop living when they start trading, and you live in such a beautiful country that you
Yes.
probably want to get out of the house and enjoy the beauty and smell the
Oh
roses.
yes. Oh yes. Yes. But you do have to go through that process. I did burn my eyes out in front of the computer trying to understand that up and down. But once you kind of understand it, because you're always learning, you have to have a life. I think trading, it's a passion for everybody that really gets involved in it, and it has to be a passion to make you stick to it, even through the rough patches, which are part of the deal. Uh, but yeah, there's so much more to do, and I like to have a lot of other things to do aside from trading. Uh, so yes, yes, I
Well,
like
let me ask you
the
this.
higher time
Uh,
frames. Hmm.
all right, you brought up hard times. So I read in your bio that you went full time in 2010. So it was a 4 year process for you to be a full time trader and have that be your bread and butter. So during that, what happened in 2010 for you to make that decision? And since you made that decision, as long as you talk about bad times, what has been your worst drawdown during that time frame since you went full time in 2010?
Okay. Um, when I went back to trading like I trade right now, then I had to get used to it and decide if I wanted to trade on breakouts, or which was going to be my favorite setup, or decide exactly what I was going to do, and then practice, practice, practice until I nail it, until I could get enough profits on an average to make up for our costs of living. So that was a couple of years after I decided to go into this kind of trading. And my worst drawdown, it's been like 30% of my account. But
Okay.
I think we have to see that as a challenge. A lot of people get very nervous and they start doing crazy things and over leveraging, over trading, and that exactly where you have to keep your coolness and be very tough about your decisions. Not be afraid of the market, but also follow the rules and don't try to recover quickly. Just recover. That's what I do, little by little, and then you're back on the road again.
Okay, that's interesting. So you also have to let go of what got you down 30% instead of dwelling on it. Is that correct? You know, I'll use the example of an athlete, American football. A quarterback throws an interception. He has to go back into the huddle and forget that he threw that interception. And it's a new start right from there. So let me ask you this. Did you dwell during that time period? Beat yourself up. Oh, why did I do this? Would have, could have, should have. And then how long did it take you to recover? How long did it take you, say, come back step by step? How long did it take you to recover from that drawdown?
Okay. Women cry. So I
Okay.
cried.
Men do too. You
That-
know, I keep a box of Kleenex by my screen. So go ahead.
Yeah, I cried. I cried, but I toughed it up. I know it's mostly a man's business, so I toughed it up and I got back my. I
Okay.
wanted to make it. I just made up my mind that I wanted to make it. So um,
Yeah. Well,
I
so
think
you
what
have
is
that.
important is to have a plan, to have your set of rules, so that hopefully it's not your fault, it's the market's fault. That's the way I see it. If I follow my rules, where I want to enter, how I want to manage the trade, where I'm going to take my loss, where I'm going to take my take profit, then I'm just, if something happens, I always have a plan B. I think that's important too. If market does this, then I'm going to do this. And I have that
Right.
ready before I go in the market so that I don't uh, have to be making decisions emotionally once I'm on a
Right.
trade. Uh,
Right.
but it's part of the deal. In all professions, I mean, if you're in sales, you're not going to land all the sales. You're going to be rejected by some of the clients. So
Right.
I think this is the same. Some of the trades are just not going to work. Uh, it's not because of the strategy. Hopefully, it's not because you made a mistake. It's important to always review your trades once a month or every 3 months or even after every trade to make sure that you're not making mistakes so that you can correct them
So do you
and
journal?
do them.
Do you journal your trades?
Yes, yes. I journal
Okay.
every day because what I do is I used to do it by hand because I am still old fashioned, but now I'm using an Excel sheet. But I like every week I do the review again, the monthly and the weekly chart. I make my notes, what I expect to happen in those charts, and then what I want to see in the 4-hour chart for me to take a trade. So I go every day and see what happened that day and make my notes. And when there's a trade, then I just make the plan. I'm gonna go in this price. I'm gonna put my stop here. I'm gonna get out with a profit here. Yes, I do have a very structured journal. Hmm.
Okay, so you brought up profits. I have an idea of some of the things that you use for entries. Tell us
Hmm.
about how you come about with your targets, how you come up with your objectives in the market on a trade, and are you focused on R to risk reward ratio on those trades, or it doesn't matter?
Okay, sure. Yes, risk reward does matter. And since I'm um, entering my trades on the retracements, then it gives me opportunity to have a small stop. For example, if I'm here uh, wanting to enter here, I have a small stop and I have, like for example, this would be my first target to the bottom um, of the
That
channel,
uptrend
and
line?
then for partial closes, which I try to do one or two. I use also the ADR, the average daily range. I take a lot of entries during Asian, um, so they are going to be pushed. in favor during the European and early US session. So most of the time when I get up, they're near or close the ADR, high or low, it depends on which direction I'm going. So I might do a partial close in there because we all know that it's probably going to retrace. And then the rest of the position, I move the stop to break even or secure some of the profits, and then once it does a retrace, I scale in another position if there's still potential for it from the
Okay.
daily and
So,
from the weekly chart.
so you're a believer in partial profits. Does that mean that you, I just heard you use the word scale, that you will scale into a position in pieces, or you put the whole position on and only scale out in pieces?
Yes, I do partial profits because well, this market is going to steal money from you if it can. So if I'm in profit, um, first I want to get the risk off as soon as I can. But technically, I move it once it has moved enough pips, and I'll do a partial close. Like for example, at the end of the U.S. session, because it's probably going to retrace. So I might as well take some of those profits and then come back later on or during Asian and see if I can add on. I do add-ons only to profitable trades, not to losing trades. And once I have my like on a specific currency, I only have one trade with risk, because the other trades that I already have don't have risk anymore. The stop loss is either on break even, or they have secure locked profit.
Okay. So speaking about currencies and speaking about a currency that is directionless, I'm curious what kind of view, I know you trade it, you have on the euro. What's your work telling you about the euro? It's been so range bound since last spring.
Right.
There's stops above the market at 109.80, at 110.60. I'm curious what you're seeing here. Okay, we're looking at the U.S. dollar. We could start here with the U.S. dollar.
Okay, yes, this is the U.S. dollar, and I'll always use it as a guide for the other currencies that I use that have the U.S. dollar on it. So as long as the U.S. dollar is still on this range, then the other crosses are probably gonna stay on a range too. So what I'm doing on the dollar, it's just trading the range basically.
Okay. So and you can't do that on a daily, can you? If you have a compressed is a 4 hour adequate for a ranging market?
Right, on the 4 hour. For example, this is my 4 hour chart, and I had this.
Right now, we're still seeing the daily in the U.S. dollar.
Okay, I'll wait.
No,
you let me know when you see.
Okay, still looking at. Maybe you're going to have to stop your screen share and start it over again.
And share again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Usually, you could just flip to another. You're getting. Malcolm thinks this interview is superb.
Okay, let's see if that works.
Okay, here we are.
Okay, good.
Got your 4 hour euro up here.
Great, great. Okay, for example, at the end of the year, I saw this potential head and shoulders over here, but it just has been testing the shoulder, testing, and he has tested it for the 5th time. So this is just a range. So what I do is what everybody does, just sell on top and buy on bottom. But no, not from the daily. You have to do it from the 4 hour chart. So what I do, I set up alerts over here, price alerts that go to my phone and to my email. And once the price gets up there, I get an alert and I come see if I have, especially, I trust candles. So if I have a candle pattern, then I'm writing the trade. For example, here, very clear pattern, very clear pattern. Candles are gonna tell you.
Okay, so you you studied what each candle's significance are, all the different candlestick, what the meaning is for dojis, etc., etc.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so
Exactly.
so you're like a Steve Neeson
Mm-hmm.
student of knowing what the candles are trying to tell you about market direction. What's this candle we're on the euro right now telling you? That we're going to
This
go
one over
towards
here.
the number 5? Yeah, are we going
Yeah.
to take out
Yeah. It's
number 5?
probably. Yeah, it's probably gonna test this area again. We're 109.30 right now. It's probably gonna um, go up to test this area. We have NFP this Friday,
Yes.
so I don't expect a lot of movement um, during these days. But it's probably
Okay.
just gonna go up here, and probably with NFP we'll have a move down again.
Okay.
If it
Is
doesn't break
there
out, yeah.
the big story has been oil in the commodity market. So vis-a-vis oil currencies like the Canadian, you have any longer-term views on where you think certain markets are going, or do you start off fresh every day, not looking out? I know if you look at weekly and daily charts, that they probably give you some longer-term potential targets or scenarios. Do you have any that you could share with us that you have some degree of conviction on? And if you don't,
Yes.
that's okay.
Yes. For example, oil. I do have the chart up here. I don't know if you can see it. This is weekly.
Still on the euro.
Okay.
So you
Let me
should,
do that.
unless you're on different desktops, you should just be able to go from one chart to another. But
Yeah, that's
so
what I did, but I don't know why it's not working.
okay, yeah,
Let me do.
I'd be interested in looking at your oil work.
Okay, let me do the same thing. Stop and
Okay. And
compare
I
again.
wanted to ask you, Graciela, do you have any type of business model in FX, or do you just strictly trade? You trade your own account, and I believe you have a PAM account with friends and family that you trade for. So, you
Yes.
know, now I had a little different philosophy. I would never trade for friends or family. So you must have a unique family and friends. All my family and friends are dysfunctional, so I didn't want to add fuel to the fire and bring money into it, because I did it before and it can taint a relationship. So
Yeah.
you're a brave woman to do that. That's all I could say. Do you teach people how to do it? Anything like that?
Well, I was for a couple of years, and I stopped about a year and a half ago because I was
Why?
getting very, very frustrated. I trained about 75 people, mostly here in Costa Rica and Latin America,
Yeah.
and I'm very passionate about trading, and I think you have to be that way to be able to make it in this
Okay, and
market. And
most
most
people are lazy. Is that the
yeah,
conclusion you came to?
well, you said it. You said it.
All
I
right.
didn't.
Okay. Well, it's my show. I could say anything. In fact,
Thank you, Dale.
therefore, there's a popularity of signal services, and then people will complain that whoever it was didn't do a good job, but they're unwilling to put in the time and effort, and it's a lot of time and a lot of effort, because I have a saying, people that are on the internet saying this, Tika, subscribe to me and I will teach you the secret to trading. And in my view, the secret is there is no secret. It's just
There is no
hard work
secret now.
and your persistence, that after
Yeah.
your drawdown, you did not throw in the towel. You did not quit, and you came back into it stronger than ever from the experience. So it really does take persistence to stay in it.
Yeah.
So you became frustrated with people, and I can understand. And I can understand.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So you've simplified your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But I
tell
help.
us what.
I like helping. So I'm in different chats, and
Yeah.
I still give a lot of support. I even meet with them one-on-one, the clients that I coached before, and I try to help because I know it's hard, but as long as the other side is really making an effort, it's like any other career. You have to go
Right.
through a 4-year, 6-year
Yeah.
training in university, and people just want to make it in 3 months. It's not going to be that way.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So tell me about what
And
you're seeing in crude. We have
okay,
those three little lines that kind of look like
yeah,
some
yeah. This
type
is
of
the weekly. This is a
okay. This
weekly. So
right.
obviously downtrend, and it broke down these three little lines that I have drawn down
Yeah.
here. So I do expect it to keep going again. First to test in this support over here, this 2660 again, and which is this area that I had from August 2003. Once it breaks that, I'm sure it will go down to the 2150. But it's going to be in waves, just like anything, right? We just have
Yeah.
to learn where to get in, because this is probably gonna go that way. It might even, I hope that it retraces all the way up here to this middle line and then
Where's
goes
that?
back
The middle line.
down.
Middle
Yeah,
line
because
is
that
where?
middle line is about 3750, that area.
Yeah.
35, if it makes a deep retrace, 35, which is psychological level, will probably stop it and send it back down.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I think,
didn't we try that last week on the rumor of the Russians and Saudis? I think we traded 3480
okay,
intraday on that
probably,
announcement.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was visiting
Okay.
your country last week. I was in Houston, so I tried to
Okay.
not follow my
Okay.
chart so much. But yes, yes, I see that. Cool.
Okay, so
Yeah, 3478.
interesting view. So yeah, we got there, and actually, and doesn't it bother you a little bit on that we're for the first time, the first couple of times, we respected the line, your bottom line, and bounce. This time we took it out. I call that a throwover, and now we're back fighting our way back inside of it. Kind of like a false
Um,
breakdown. A false breakdown, is that a possibility? Have you seen that before, where markets will accelerate through a line for a little bit and then get back inside the channel, and that changes the picture? It's almost like a failure signal.
well, I don't see it that way. I think we're still
Okay.
on the downside. There's still
Okay.
enough strength to the downside. And I know everybody's trying to pick a bottom here
Yeah.
and trying to pick a top on the US dollar. And
Yeah.
I'm patient. I mean, I don't rush in until the daily really shifts and to me everything here on the daily is still telling me that it's short until I have
Right.
patterns and levels broken, then I'm still trading this short. Once I have a moving averages, resistances, pivots, once I have all of that broken to the upside, then okay, of course I'm gonna switch sides. But for now, this is still a down
Okay.
trade for me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to say that I'm glad to know you, Tika. Very nice to
Same to
meet
me.
you, and thank you for sharing your story and journey and your views. And everyone, please thank Graciela for her time. If you're interested in following Graciela Tika's work, you could follow her at FX Tika. And I wish you a great 2016. You are a pro. Rick said you're a pro, and Rick knows, and I could tell from talking to
He's a
you
pro.
that you're you've gone through the testing period, Graciela. Congratulations for not giving up, and I hope that pips rain down on you and your family throughout this year of 2016. And I'm also going to call you from now on my trading warrior sister.
Thank you. Thank you, Dale. That's an honor for me. Thanks.
Thank you so.
Thanks so much for
Thank you
inviting
so.
me to your show.